Every Father's Day morning, I wake to the scent of fresh coffee and pancakes, Dad's special surprise. But until this year, I never wondered why we celebrated this day at all. It just was, like the sun rising or my little brother asking for more syrup. It all changed when Grandpa Henry handed me an old silver pocket watch stamped with the date June 19th, 1910. He called it the Timekeeper. "Let's take a trip," he winked, to see how Father's Day began. I held the watch's cool face in my palm as Grandpa whispered a date. The hand spun backward until the world grew hazy. We landed in a crowded church hall glowing with late afternoon light. Women in wide-brimmed hats arranged lilies on a rough pine altar. At the front, a young mother named Sonora Smart Dodd stood at the podium, her eyes bright with purpose. She told the story of her own father, William Smart, a Civil War veteran who'd raised her 6 siblings alone after his wife died in childbirth. Every Sunday, he'd kneel in prayer, ironing his worn coat and growing more stoic the older he got. Sonora remembered his strong arms carrying each child when they stumbled, his booming laugh that filled their wooden home, and the way he never let hardship break his spirit. "He loved us fiercely," Sonora said, her voice steady. "We have Mother's Day to thank mothers. Let us have a day to honor fathers for their strength, their guidance, and their love." As the crowd rose in applause, I felt something warm settle in my chest, an echo of pride, recognition of what Dad does for me every day. Grandpa clicked the watch again. The church hall dissolved into a bustling hotel lobby. Large banners proclaimed, "Father's Day Proclamation, President Wilson invited by Spokane." I watched Woodrow Wilson step to the microphone. Adjusting his pince-nez eyeglasses, he declared the third Sunday in June a day to celebrate fathers nationwide. A brass band struck up "America" as guests waved small flags. Even in black and white photographs of the day, I felt its excitement. Beside me, Grandpa whispered, "Wilson proclaimed it, but it wasn't yet a holiday. Businesses kept pushing their own dates." I thought of how Dad toggles between work meetings and teaching me to swim. Another click and we stood before a newspaper printing press. Headline: "The Father's Day Council formed to promote holiday." Men in suits and bowler hats crowded around wireless radios, broadcasting the news of a new trade association determined to make Father's Day as big as Mother's. Mechanics in overalls, clerks in starched collars, and fathers of every walk of life listened in, some bemused, some hopeful. A factory whistle blew to mark noon. Fathers on their lunch break cheered, doffed their caps, and clinked chipped coffee mugs. I pictured Dad strolling in for his own lunch break, hat in hand, checking his watch so he wouldn't miss my school play. I realized our family celebrations were small rituals of love. The Timekeeper spun forward this time, and I found myself in a marble-pillared hall. President Lyndon B. Johnson stood behind a podium, signing a proclamation. He called upon Americans to honor their fathers through public and private expressions of love and gratitude. Journalists scribbled notes. Outside, a parade rolled past the Capitol, marching bands in faded purple uniforms playing "God Bless America." I pressed my palm to a cool column beside the parade route and thought of Dad in his crisp polo shirt, waving at me from the stands at my Little League game. That simple gesture had felt like gold then and still did. A final click hurled us forward. I blinked in the bright flash of camera bulbs as President Richard Nixon signed the law that made Father's Day a permanent national holiday, celebrated on the third Sunday of June each year. This time, I didn't see brass bands or banners. I saw Dad's face when he tucks me into bed, reads my awkward handwriting on a homemade card, and holds back tears. The law felt official, but my realization felt personal. Every dad in every home made this day matter long before any president could decree it. With one last whirl, the watch stilled. I was back in Grandpa's sunlit living room, the soft aroma of his pipe mixing with the warm glow of morning. He closed the watch gently and looked at me through silver-rimmed glasses. "What did you learn?" he asked. I hugged the watch to my chest. That Father's Day started because one daughter loved her dad enough to ask for it, and every family made it their own. Grandpa smiled. Exactly. When Dad came through the door, pancakes in hand, I ran to grip his big, familiar shoulders. My brother tumbled in after me, brandishing a crookedly drawn Father's Day card. Dad scooped us into a hug. "Happy Father's Day," he said, voice thick with emotion. And for the first time, I knew exactly why we celebrated. Not because of proclamations or council banners, but because every child who ever looked up at a father said in their heart, "Thank you." I set the pocket watch on the table, its hands frozen on 6/19/1910. It was a gift I'd carry forever, a reminder that history lives in our homes, in every gentle word and guiding hand.